is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that
Fresh,
you adore
clean,
and
delicate and subtle. Words used by the new face of Coco Mademoiselle, Keira Knightley, to describe the fragrance. This modern icon is the star of a new advertising film which has caused a stir around the world and reminded women about the beauty of the Coco Mademoiselle scent, which was first launched in 2001. In this podcast, we'll delve into the world of Chanel to look at what influenced the film. Director Joe Wright will talk us through the story he created and his relationship with Keira. We'll then hear from the star herself about being the muse for one of the world's best-known perfumes. Joe created the story and directed the film, reuniting him with Keira, who starred in one of this year's biggest cinema hits, a film Joe directed, Atonement. Their relationship continues to blossom and is already being likened to that of Vadim and Bardo or Bergman and Rossellini. I met Joe in London recently and asked him about his first impressions of Chanel.
I had an idea of Chanel as being this glamorous, sort of otherworldly Parisian place that was all kind of black and white and very stylish and very modern. And my father was around in the 1920s and 30s. I kind of have quite a romantic idea about that period, and especially Paris with Stefan Grappelli and Django Reinhardt playing in the Hot Club and Josephine Baker and all of those kind of people. I've always had this idea that Paris was this kind of beacon of style and hedonism and all mixed up together.
I read that you were on set of another film when you got the message and got asked to do this.
Yeah.
And the two worlds couldn't have been much more different, could they? Explain that to me.
I was filming some scenes for my new feature film, Atonement, and we were filming on a sulphur-stinking steelworks up in the northeast of England, and I got a phone call saying, did I fancy doing a perfume commercial for Chanel? The idea of a perfume commercial in Paris for Chanel seemed like such a luxuriant, wonderful idea, but I took it as a joke. And so I went round on my crew saying, listen lads, if you get us out of here, then I'll take you all to Paris, and we're going to go and be glamorous and with Chanel. Weirdly, it did come to pass. It was a definite challenge. It was something that I wanted to prove that I could do, really. To be asked to write it as well, that's very, very unusual for a commercial. To be asked to kind of come up with the ideas and the images, and that was a very rewarding process. And just to be able to do something fun, really, that didn't have to take itself too seriously. Obviously, we took the responsibility very seriously, but we didn't have to take the drama too seriously. My designer, Sarah Greenwood, has got an immaculate sense of style, and the set that we designed together is incredibly stylish, you know. And my cameraman, Seamus McGarvey, has such a beautiful eye and such a stylish eye as well. He lights with real elegance. One felt very privileged, actually, to be given access to this extraordinary world. And again, it fueled my kind of romantic imagination of the period that she lived through. I like to imagine myself there, working there, and I kind of, you know, I'm quite a romantic soul, really, so it felt like a little dream to enter into through these strange mirrored doors. It's incredibly magical. I mean, she's created something. It's almost like a little fantasy land, and it is all mirrors, and it's all kind of, you know, and this whole idea that the whole shop front, the public persona, is this kind of cool white, black, beige, mirrored, sharp, modernist kind of exterior, and then when you kind of creep behind the mirror through the looking glass, and there is this kind of baroque, oriental, deep reds, lush sofas, heavily textured, heavily patterned world.
And the chance to work with Keira again.
Are
you getting bored of her yet?
No, you can never get bored of Keira. She kind of constantly confounds expectations. She's just extraordinary. She's turning into a really, you know, she's turned into over the past of the two films, and now there's a very good friend, and so it's lovely to work with friends. I mean, I work with friends in all the other departments, camera and design, and so I also work with friends in terms of the performance department. And she likes that way of working. She likes to be one of the gang. She doesn't want to be treated as this rarefied princess, you know. Yeah. She likes to muck in, and so I think maybe one of the reasons why she likes working with me is for that reason.
Was it made more difficult by the fact you're working with a fragrance as against working with makeup and beauty if the face is so important?
No, because I think the fragrance is really is an attitude, isn't it? It's a spirit, and I think that's what one was trying to achieve, and that's what one was wanting from Keira's face. Keira is exciting because, again, she's one of those people that you can't quite put your finger on. You think that she's the girl next door, and then you suddenly see that she's a completely kind of glamorous kind of femme fatale, and then suddenly she's this and that, and I think Keira's ever changing, and as we all are, really, but she's not afraid to show that, and I think that's what the fragrance is about, perhaps. So to the opening, there's a little bit of breakfast at Tiffany's, really. There's a little bit of where's she been, that she's been with someone upstairs, that she has a lover upstairs, and that they've just declared their love for each other, and that when she's at the mirror here, she's kind of thinking about him and the night she's coming from. And so the idea being that she changes from one person into another, and takes that necklace from her ankle and puts it round her neck. I couldn't think where to put the perfume, so I thought maybe she'd put it behind her knee. I like the idea that she'd have men at her feet. So this was all built in a studio, the apartment, and was, in a way, as I was talking about Chanel's apartment, there's something kind of luxurious, the chinoiserie and the darkness, the reds. It was kind of inspired by Chanel's own apartment. And there's a lot of crystal in Chanel's apartment, these wonderful chandeliers, and it's quite opulent. Whereas the set that we are about to walk into now, taking us out of that kind of classical style and into something far more modern, with these mirrors. These mirrors are about the staircase that Chanel used to watch people from. The idea that she's a muse as well. This is the idea that Keira was a kind of muse to some video installation artist. And then she goes back into the streets, and we don't know where she's going, and we don't know where she's come from or where she's going.
I already love the Joss Stone version of the Nat King Cole song. Where did the idea to use that come from?
We tried many different pieces, and that's the one that we stuck with. We threw the spaghetti at the wall, and I wanted something that was both kind of quite old-fashioned and also modern as well. The idea that it is inspired by something kind of older and brought into the modern context.
Looking back at the whole experience, what do you make of the whole thing?
It was great. It was fun. I mean, one can't be too serious about things, and it was really good fun.
Would you do it again?
For Chanel, always.
And so, to the star of the film, Keira Knightley is one of the most sought-after and photographed stars in the world right now. At only 22 years old, she already has an Academy Award nomination to her name and has become a global star, thanks to her role as Elizabeth Swann in the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. Joe Parkinson has been along to meet her.
Now, I was lucky enough to see the new Chanel advert that you're starring in.
Yes, it's a nice advert.
It's beautiful.
It's a very beautiful advert. Again, it was Joe Wright who directed it, so it was another collaboration, a very different collaboration. It was a commercial, and neither of us had done one before, but it's not something that I do a lot of, and Joe had never done a commercial, so it was cool to do something completely different.
And you get to wear a gorgeous gown.
Another gorgeous gown, I know, a Chanel one this time, which was lovely, yeah.
What's it like to be asked to be, the face of Chanel?
It's very exciting. I mean, it's not the whole of Chanel. It's the Coco Mademoiselle perfume. It's great. It was actually nice because I actually wear it, so I can very weirdly say in an advertising thing, I do actually wear this perfume, and it's gorgeous. So I hope everybody likes it.
So the Coco Mademoiselle story is in place. Through Keira Knightley, we see an independent and confident woman who is carefree and who lives her life the way she wants to. Joe Wright has taken his inspiration from the places where Mademoiselle Chanel lived and worked, and has used his extraordinary filmmaking technique to pay homage to the woman herself, telling a story from beginning to end in just 60 seconds. Add to this Joss Stone's take on Nat King Cole's classic song L.O.V.E., and we see a film which once again demonstrates the Chanel vision of creating beautiful images for beautiful women.
Coco Mademoiselle. Chanel.